I'm calling my friends going, yeah, I'm going to be in the next Batman movie. They're like, what are you going to play? I'm like, Batman. And they're and you didn't really realize you're on the Titanic.
There are some moments in life you'll never forget.
I mean, that was a very disappointing loss the other day, but we're still doing okay. It was a great win just before that.
UNC Wilmington. You're not scared of UNC Wilmington?
Oh my God, that just what were we 7-2 now?
7-2. Yes.
All right. Well,
we destroyed Penn. So.
I know that was good. You don't care about this. This doesn't matter to you.
I care.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't care.
Go Big Blue.
He doesn't
just
understand.
Say go Big Blue, Joel.
No, go Big Blue. I feel like you guys could just keep rapping. I appreciate sports.
They don't row in Kentucky. There's no great rowing. There's no water there. Come on, go ahead. Ask Joel a question.
Well, actually, Jordan, I do want to start with you because your racing scenes, I kept marveling at all the different places you discovered to put your camera, which had to be a challenge given the size of the boats, the shape of the boats. Do you storyboard your action, and did you put races? We
storyboarded almost all of the action, and we had to plan it out because we could use some little cameras to get inside that boat because the boat's so narrow. But a lot of it was just plain old stick it on a 100-foot arm and put a little tiny camera on the end of it and try to get in close to their faces. It was tricky. Long lenses, which was helpful.
Callum, I need to know how difficult it is to ask for, or if you're even able to, ask for multiple takes during the rowing scenes. If you make a mistake, what happens in that instance? Does George just film a ton, and you assume they'll get something out of it?
Yeah, well, they set up with 5 cameras each time we went out onto the boat, so it was quite freeing actually because you only had to concentrate on not screwing up with the rowing, which was enough. The consequence of screwing up is that you could catch a crab, which means that your oar stays in the water whilst the boat moves, and it's moving fast, which means that your oar the handle of your oar will propel into the back of the person in front of you, which isn't a nice feeling for them. Jack and I had a few rows because I did catch a crab at one point and it flew into his back, and it's actually in the film, when we're screaming at each other. That was a real fight, and we went at each other for about 3 minutes, and then I came out of the argument, realized I'm static on the water and there's 150 people watching me on boats.
Wow.
And Jack and I were so embarrassed. It was a bonding experience.
Yeah, not a lot of places to fight on a boat. You're essentially just...
No, when you're sitting down, it doesn't look cool, man.
That's
You're just
why it looks
there.
so real in the movie, though, man.
Yeah, but me and Jack and I actually fought a lot because there was this competitive spirit between all of us in a really beautiful way. It powered our desire, and we just wanted so bad to achieve this 46 strokes per minute that sometimes it spilled over,
8-man crew is the most difficult team sport in the world. So good luck.
Joel, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is right after the boys get chosen for the team, and the assistant coach says, that's my favorite part. Yeah. These men finally hearing that they've been chosen to be part of that. And I assume that actors get a similar feeling when they get the call that they're the right person for a role. And I'm wondering if you have a story of elation getting the call that a role you really wanted finally went to you.
Big time, man. You just brought back memories for me. I often wonder why I don't celebrate more now. I feel like I'm a little bit too cynical, but I do remember that feeling. Like I remember being 20. It was my 26th birthday, and I was doing a theatre workshop in Sydney, and I got a call saying I was going to be in Star Wars. And I just walked into that rehearsal room feeling a gazillion feet tall. I was only in the movie for 3.5 minutes, but it didn't matter. It was like the joy of that.
And the funniest part is there is no real reference to things. For me, the big one was getting Batman and Robin, right? And I called all my friends. Now remember, this is famously one of the worst films ever made, right? Famously. Everybody will say, this is literally the worst film ever made. But when I got the part, I'm calling my friends going, yeah, I'm going to be in the next Batman movie. They're like, what are you going to play? I'm like, Batman. And they're and you didn't really realize you're on the Titanic.
If you could harness that feeling of that's the celebratory feeling of a young actor getting their first job, or that job that makes them feel I've stepped up a level, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a few, I guess. Every role I get, I'm sort of like, wow, this is great. But there was one where I was I was actually going to row through the Grand Canyon. So I was going on a rowing trip for 10 days with no phones or...
Was it another rowing story?
Yeah, but it was different. It was rafting. Sorry, it was rafting. It wasn't
Hadley's a
rowing.
rower, we just discovered.
But I was going to be in the, somewhere lost in the Grand Canyon for 10 days, and I got a call that I got this one job I really wanted, and then I was like, okay, that's great, and you're not going to hear from me for 10 days because I will not have my phone or service. But yeah, and this one too, like getting this part, just, yeah, I was over the moon. Yeah.
Well, the movie's fantastic. But I watched this movie with my wife, and she let out a scream at the moment that Callum gets off the train and the train starts to pull away to go and kiss Joyce. And I was not even thinking that was a moment that was so immersive that it was going to get her, and she screamed. So, Hadley, when you filmed that scene, did you think that it had that kind of an impact?
Wow, no, but I'm so happy to hear that it did. That's what we want, I mean, I guess we don't really know if he's going to come back or not, and so maybe that's the beautiful moment of not knowing what's going to happen. But I love that she had that response.
She was hook, line, and sinker at this point. So, George, we started this talking about basketball, and you have a rowing movie. You have a Leatherheads, which was filmed here in North Carolina, where I am in Charlotte. Do you?
How are you in Charlotte? Basketball? How are you in North Carolina, where you're going to get killed?
My son's a sophomore at UK this year. So.
Somebody's going to beat you. They're going to beat you with wearing a UK shirt around.
You know how many Cats fans are around here?
Really?
Honestly, everywhere I walk, it's Big Blue Nation. It's everywhere. Do you have an Underdog basketball movie that you've ever circled?
Well,
you have to direct a basketball movie.
There's obviously the Underdog basketball movie is Hoosiers, which is a masterpiece.
Sure.
But if you haven't seen it, I bet you have because you're a sports guy. The greatest 30 for 30, I think maybe the best sports documentary I've ever seen is Survive in Advance, which is the Jim Valvano one.
Yes.
I've seen it 30 times. I know how it ends. I know they're going to beat Michael Jordan and Clyde the Glide Drexler and Hakeem Olajuwon. I know they're going to beat them all. And I still chew my fingernails off the whole time. And Valvano is just so inspiring, and it's just a great piece of storytelling.
It's amazing. So is this.
For what it's worth, I'm proud of you boys.
Inspiring.
You missed the part where I told him not to tip over.